How about the toughest region so far of the four here that we have on this Monday after watching the teams be announced and seeing how it's laid out on the bracket? Which region stands out to you as the toughest?
Yeah, I'm looking at these regions, and to me, it's not even close. I would absolutely hate to be in the South if I'm any of these teams. I mean, if I'm Cincinnati, if I'm Dayton, you know, if I'm any of these guys that aren't one of the top 4 seeds in the region, I think I got a really rough deal.
Right. Well, I mentioned Wichita State.
Yeah.
I think that the numbers say as a top 10 team in Ken Pom and in the power rankings, they deserve a much higher seeding than 10. But then to be the 10th seed also in this region with UNC, Kentucky, UCLA, and Butler are your top 4 seeds. I don't think any of the other 3 regions comes close as far as the depth.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not even close. And the playing game with Kansas State, Wake Forest, let's just start there because you got guys from, you know, really tough conferences going at it. Usually, a lot of these play-in teams we never even heard of before. We've been talking about Wake Forest a lot this season. We're talking about K-State too. So, and some of the other play-ins are definitely not as strong.
Middle Tennessee State is a team that we saw last year knock off Michigan State in the first round, and a lot of people think that this is an even better team, a more experienced team. They could make a run to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Never count out Arkansas. They get hot, and with that pressure defense, Mike Anderson's team, you never know, given that situation, how they can catch fire, and they can give North Carolina fits if they're matched up there in the second round. So I would say, you know, if you look around, UCLA is the 3rd seed in this region. When you look at number 3, Oregon in the Midwest, number 3, Baylor in the East, and number 3, Florida State in the West, who's the best of the 3 seeds there? It's got to be UCLA, right?
Definitely.
So that right there. And then when you look at the 4 seeds, Butler in the South. So is that better than 4 seed Purdue in the Midwest, 4 seed Florida in the East, 4 seed West Virginia in the West? Maybe West Virginia in the West, but I'd say based on what we've seen so far, I'd go with Butler.
Well, it depends on what these teams do, obviously, because if Caleb Swanigan gets hot, it's over. I mean, he carries that team.
He can,
right?
He can. Look, I told you though. I told you. Watch out for Vermont. Number 1, that first round matchup. Do not overlook the Catamounts. Number 2. We saw too, and if you want to put credence into if you believe that they were correct in Wichita State not getting higher seed than number 10, well then you better believe also that they were right that the Big Ten, I mean they shot down the Big Ten.
Yes.
They were not impressed with what they saw this season from the Big Ten.
They only did Maryland a favor. That's really it.
Right. We saw when they gave the top 16 reveal that there were no Big Ten teams, and the teams that came out when we saw the field of 68, I mean, it was pretty blah.
It was like their cable subscription to the Big Ten got cut off or something. They weren't able to see what the Big Ten did this year because it obviously didn't reflect into the bracket.
No. So we're in agreement. The South region looks like it's going to be the toughest.